Now, lastly, I'm going to touch on the Red Sox. Right now, obviously, there's not much to talk about because it's not like they're out there just pissing away money. No, they don't do that. This is the Fenway Sports Group. Remember, they did that when they first got here. Now they're like telling all the fans, F you, and you're still going to come to our ballpark no matter how much it costs, no matter how much the beer prices are, no matter how much the sausage, peppers, and onions, the hot dogs, the chicken fingers, all of that cost. It's going to be the highest in the league. And guess what? You're still going to show up. The problem is, it's not Red Sox fans that are showing up. It's New Yorkers. It's, Houston. It's, Philly, the LA, the Dodgers. It's all of the other teams, Toronto. All the other teams are coming in to see Fenway Park and their team annihilate the Red Sox. They'll pay the exorbitant prices. That's what they're going to do. But before I continue with the FSG even more, I saw this comment. So AJ Przinsky has a podcast called Foul Territory, and he's on with Ken Rosenthal. And AJ Przinsky played with the Sox for a year, and he asked Ken, actually couldn't even finish asking Ken, are the Red Sox even trying? And as soon as he's finished saying trying, AJ was going to go on a little bit of a rant to try to explain himself what he means by not trying. No. Ken didn't even have to wait. He just goes, no. A National Baseball writer, without skipping a beat, says no. The Red Sox aren't even trying. And he goes on to explain that, well, let's look at it. Let's look at what the Sox have done, right? They have done nothing. Yeah, they signed Lucas Giolito. They scooped up a couple of guys. Again, bargain, basement hunting, waivers, all that stuff. They just made a waiver claim earlier today for a nobody, and they dropped a nobody from their 40-man roster in order to make room. Like, two guys I've never heard of. So, sorry to all the baseball guys who are baseball nerds who are just kind of like, you're talking about the Red Sox. You need to know who these guys are. All the Red Sox fans, sorry. I didn't know, this guy, the guy they dropped, DFA'd on the 40-man roster. Never heard of him before in my life. The guy they picked up off waivers, never heard before. Sorry, but that's just the case. So he goes on to explain that Ken Rosenthal, National Baseball writer, who's got the inside on all things baseball, goes on to explain that Jordan Montgomery, one of the top 3 pitchers that is still on the free agent market, and I mean top 3 from the beginning, he's still on the free agent market. He lives in Boston. He's working out in Boston, and his wife is doing a residency in Boston. And yet, nothing, absolutely nothing from the Red Sox even calling his agent just to get a ballpark of what he, is looking for. Zero, zilch, nada. The guy's living in Boston, doing everything in Boston. And yet, these jackasses are like, whatever. Good for him. Glad he's enjoying the city. We'll see him in another uniform soon. I mean, it really is truly inexplicable how they're running things. It really is. Jared Carrabis tweeted out earlier today. November 2nd, 2023. Red Sox vow to go, quote, full throttle. January 19th, 2024. Red Sox tell fans they're lowering payroll. Both things are true. January 31st, earlier today. Fenway Sports Group, part of a $3 billion investment group to partner with the PGA Tour. Really? $3 billion to partner with the PGA Tour. Huh. So that 300 million I talked about Robert Kraft saving over those 10 years and how it went to that giant lighthouse and the giant scoreboard. How you can see downtown Providence and downtown Boston from the lighthouse. Now I think I know why that ticket prices are through the roof. Beer prices through the roof. Highest in baseball. Ticket prices highest in baseball. Hot dog, food, highest in baseball. Am I being a little hyperbolic? Sure. But again, still top 5. They're taking in all that money, lowering payroll just to invest be the lead in the investment of the PGA Tour. The $3 billion. I guarantee you they have the majority share because that's what it's been talked about. It's been talked about that they are the majority in that investment group, which just goes to show you what if they haven't lost your trust by now, what more do they need to show you? What more do they need to show you for you to finally say to the Red Sox organization, not Alex Cora, not the players, but to the organization, the front office, the brass, the ownership, Fenway Sports Group, to tell them to F off. Sorry, but it needs to be said. You know, these guys have done a lot for this team. And I get it. I loved every World Series championship and every time we competed for World Series championships. I did. You know, but they lost my trust the day they traded Mookie Betts. Now, again, was he going to stay? Was he going to leave? I don't know. You know, if they actually gave him a real number, was he going to stay for it? Hindsight being 2020, Mookie says he would have. You know, again, this is years later. He says he would have. But I don't know. And so that was the day, and you can even go back to John Lester. You know, I was so disheartened by the Lester negotiation because of how much they undersold him, because of how much he meant to this team and this organization. They treated him like a scrub. And it was just asinine. And of course, you treat Lester like that. You get rid of Mookie Betts because you don't, he's a generational talent. And you're like, yeah, no, nothing. And then you do that to Xander Bogaerts. Now, of course, Xander Bogaerts, yeah, he's probably on, you know, the downward trend of his career. But he admitted, he talked about how he wants to stay and would take a hometown discount to some extent. You undershot him so much that of course he had to go and take a payday with the Padres. And I'm glad he did. I'm glad he got his money. And all the Red Sox fans out there thinking that the Padres' money is exactly what it would have taken for him to stay, you're just as ignorant. Because it wasn't. He wanted, you know, little money. Xander Bogaerts wanted the hometown discount to stay wearing a Red Sox uniform for the rest of his career, and you just pissed that away. So how can they regain my trust? That was the question that I asked at the start of the show. How can they regain my trust? Well, it's going to start by signing Jordan Montgomery. And even if they signed Jordan Montgomery, there's no way on God's green earth you could ever convince me that this offseason was a success, even if they get Montgomery. Now, if they got Snell and Montgomery, then we can start talking. Still wouldn't classify as success, but we can start talking. And but it's going to take years, because what's the old adage? It takes years to build up trust, or it takes years to build up trust, and all it takes is a split second for people to lose that trust in you. Maybe not exactly those words, but you know what I'm saying. And it's going to take a long time. I understand they want to build through the farm system. I get it. But this team sucks. This team is garbage. And they know it. Tyler O'Neill, really? That's the guy you want to tout to be like, oh, look, we got Tyler O'Neill and Lucas Giolito. And Trevor Story's coming back. Yay. I hate this. This is what the Red Sox have done the last 4 years. They have treated every guy that's come back from injury after the trade deadline as a trade in and of itself. They're like, well, we're getting Trevor Story back. Well, we're getting Xander Bogaerts back. Well, we're doing this, that. We're getting this, that, and the other back from injury. We're getting Chris Sale back from injury. So that's a trade. There we go. See, no problem. But that is a problem in and of itself, because you don't understand. You're not helping your cause. You're basically becoming net even. You're not improving your team. You might be slightly weakening your team, but at the end of the day, it's more of a net neutral to get a guy back from injury after the trade deadline. It's going to take a long time for the Fenway Sports Group and John Henry to rebuild my trust. And even if the Red Sox go on to have a playoff season this season, that doesn't mean all is forgiven. Unfortunately, I need the Red Sox to finish last again, because if they finish last, then maybe next offseason they'll realize, crap, we actually have to spend money in order to win. Versus if they do make the playoffs this year, then John Henry and Fenway Sports Group and Tom Warner and Sam Kennedy are going to feel validated. And if they feel validated, then it's over. It really is over if those guys feel validated because they made the playoffs. 2021, they felt validated, even though the players were kind of like, you didn't help us at all. And so now we have to do this. So that 2021 playoff run they had was more of a screw you to ownership than it was anything else. And that's what worries me. That's what bothers me, that I actually have to cheer for the Red Sox to finish last. Call me crazy, but the more they finish last, the more I hope that either John Henry dies and whoever gets the team or is the owner of the Fenway Sports Group will actually want to invest in the Red Sox, or that the more we lose, the more they'll realize, we have to spend money. So let's actually spend money on elite players. They had the opportunity this offseason, and they basically laughed in our face. They laughed in the faces of Red Sox fans, of Red Sox Nation, thinking that they have fielded a championship caliber team, and they still want to go young, and they don't want to pay anybody. So I don't know what to tell you. The Red Sox feel like a lost cause. And unfortunately, if we want them to spend, then we got to cheer on them losing. So tell me what you guys think. You can hit me up on any of the platforms below at Boston Sports Summit on Instagram, at BOS Sports Summit on Twitter. I'm Boston Sports Summit on YouTube. You can find all these clips and links. And I'm also on the YouTube, other side, reverse, YouTube's Grid Network.